Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, live from the Ministry League studios in North Georgia, each week with John the Professor Podine and Paul Superman Sperlin, and with producer Caleb Sampson behind the glass on the Ministry League Network. And on all your other favorite platforms, here with all your ministry talk and the latest in news and sports. It's the John and Paul Show live.
Welcome to the John and Paul Show, brought to you by the Ministry League. All things you find on the internet, all things on the internet that you find, which is at Ministry League, and go to the website ministryleague.com. John, go ahead and do it. You got a cough. Do it. Do what you got to do. Okay. This is our birthday.
Is this really our birthday?
This
Paul?
is our 10th birthday, John.
Man, yes, we're kids again. We're 10 years old, Paul. That makes me feel better about myself.
So we are in a situation to where what was us before, our name change and everything, now we're 10 years old and pretty excited about what we have. And we've got a lot going on the show today. We have an event we're going to talk about that we're going on, and we have more mission work that's kicking up we're really excited about. And then also we have an opportunity to talk about some ways to help continue our discussion about helping volunteers, John.
That's right, Paul. You know what? It's great to see you, Paul. I hope that you had a great Valentine's Day. And I just want to take this time before we get into this show, Paul, I'm glad that we're celebrating our 10th year, our 10-year anniversary of doing this, because you're going back, and my friend Paul gets honored tomorrow at Faulkner University as you're considered the young alumnus of the year, right? Young alumnus of the year within the Bible department. And I'm like, yeah, young, go for it, Paul. And so I just want to tell everybody how proud we are of Paul and the things that he does. If we need someday just to put out everything that you do and like on a resume and everything. Probably not. You may get in trouble with your elders. But just of everything that is done. And Paul, we are proud of you. You lead Exposure and Ministry League and everything. And you're the one that really keeps us going with this show. It's like, hey, we're doing a show this
Well, to be fair, Caleb does contact us every week to make sure.
Yes, he does. Caleb does do that in there and kick it in there. So,
but thanks for the shout out. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, Paul, we are proud of you. And if you are in the Montgomery area, y'all go tomorrow to Faulkner, as Paul will be speaking 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's early in the morning, Paul.
You've heard it. Don't worry about it. Actually, you haven't heard it. I'll say you've heard it. You haven't heard it, actually.
That's early in the morning. So
that is early in the morning.
Paul, we are glad, and we're here today to kick some more stuff in, talking with this ministry talk. I mean, after all, sports are basically done. I mean, really nothing going on right now, basketball, and that really don't kick in until March. So here we are.
Here we are. It's pretty exciting. We have an event we're going on. A few of us in this area, this part of North Georgia area, is actually traveling to Florida on Saturday. I'm looking at the calendar real quick. Make sure I got this right. February is crazy.
You better make sure you get it right in there.
I know. So I'm going to Montgomery tonight, get back tomorrow evening, and then the next morning we leave to go to East Point, Florida. I'll be traveling with Caleb on their bus, driving their bus, and meeting with the Woodstock folks on the interstate and heading on down to.
Really going to be driving their bus?
Yeah. Oh, it's a 24 passenger. It's a CDL needed, and I happen to have one. So there we go.
Do it, Paul.
Yeah.
Make it.
So,
go save the people in East Point, Georgia.
Yeah. Well, it's East Point, Florida, but
Florida, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We're going down there. It's actually a really interesting work. Jeremy Powell kind of put us onto it. Well, no, he definitely put us onto it, and kind of an impoverished. The county is interesting. Half of it is extremely impoverished. The other half is extremely for visitors and vacationers and things like that. And so we are going down to help the church that is in need, and a family who's actually lost children in a fire, and just a lot of things going on there, and giving some stuff away, and having a retreat for the kids that are involved. And so to the Woodstock, LJ, and Piedmont Road folks, thank you for all your support, and everybody else, because a lot of money has been raised to help that church, that congregation. And don't let it stop. Let's continue to work on this and help them as we go. Big shout out to Ministry League in general for the money that has been spent to help with all of this, but also the support and being there. And, we'll be in our Ministry League t-shirts working and really doing some cool stuff. So you'll be seeing a lot of that stuff on there's Jeremy right there. That's awesome. Yeah. On Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, follow us on Ministry League, and you'll get to keep up with what's going on. And so we'll try to chronicle that as we go on the road trip, and getting there, and the works we get to do, and to get back. And so,
and the thing is, Paul, this is perfect, a perfect extension of what we're doing with N2 and everything. Yeah. And N2 is not just about going overseas. It's about even hitting right here at home. And I'm glad that you and Jeremy and all of them are heading down there. And yes, Frodo, I am from Florida, but I stick mainly in the Northeast and Central Florida. Is where
he definitely sticks in Central Florida. I'll put that way.
That's where my roots are back in the day. But anyway, I'm glad y'all going down. I know y'all going to have some wonderful success down there, and hopefully it'll be nice and warm for you, Paul.
We're hoping. I think we're hearing, and Jeremy, I know he's watching. Hopefully he'll throw us some updates there. We're thinking we're somewhere in the low 60s, which is perfect.
It'll be great. Awesome. So, that will be awesome for sure.
Yeah, we'll be down there doing that work, worshiping with them, and doing that work on Sunday, and then Friday and Saturday, Sunday, then Monday and Tuesday is the retreat with the kids, and then we'll head back on Wednesday, be back in time, hopefully for Bible study.
Yes, absolutely, Paul. Well, Paul, before we get it, and this is a perfect segment, I guess, for us to talk about this thing, because to do a mission trip like this, you've got to have volunteers. And that's kind of what we've been talking about here on the show is getting the volunteers and putting them to work. And because one person can't do it all, two people can't do it all. And churches are starting to recognize that, I believe. And that's why you're seeing this team concept being hired within the churches in that local congregational setting. But even that, you've got to have more people involved to do this and to be able to pull this off. And I know you and Jeremy and all those guys that are doing it, you've got to have more people there to help than just y'all two showing up to do it. And so, Paul, we're going to continue our talk here talking about how to help people become volunteers.
Yeah, we talked last week 2 weeks ago about the ask and how to get them there. And today we're talking about how to equip them. And so we're excited about that. I do want to go ahead and say a big thank you to Freed Hardeman University for allowing me to share this information at their Youth and Family Summit. I appreciate that so very much. Had a wonderful week. Caleb and I were there, and Caleb spent the rest of the week helping us with our table and setting up the vendoring for all that too. So really appreciate. Shout out to Freed. Another great lectureship, back to normal. It was wonderful, and so really appreciate them so much. Thank you.
Are you telling Freed Hardeman thank you from there?
I am.
Were they just inside the church and you're like, hey, everybody, what's going on?
No, actually, our creator of our science lab is here and she's working on it. And so I was giving thank you.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Very. I can't wait to show that. That'll be another show for the time. So yeah, equip adults. It is more than just me and Caleb and Jeremy going. And you talk to people and you spend time with people. And there's just about 6 things I think is important that we share with them and get them on board. And I think you start with the most important. Number 1, you just love them. Love people. Love God's people. And for that very reason.
Yeah. And Paul, that's where it all kind of starts. The Apostle Paul talks about how love is the key of everything. Book of Colossians, he talks about that. Of course, 1 Corinthians, he talks a lot about that. And you've got to love people where they're at, and it's in order to get volunteers. If they don't feel that connection, and they don't feel their value, they're not going to volunteer. They'll volunteer down the street with the local rec center, or they'll volunteer at their kid's school because they've witnessed and understand the value of that investment that's taking place. And if we don't love them, they're not going to help us.
True. Very well said. I mean, I think another part of it too is, and you touched on this a little bit, they need to spend some time with these kids and know who these kids are. And, to ask them to love somebody, to love people without knowing them is kind of tough. And so you create opportunities for them to mix and mingle with the kids and spend time with them. Things like that, come to class, that kind of thing, and kind of interact with them. And then the love happens. It's the love of people. And so it's really neat. So just to love them, I think, is where you start in how we equip that.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely, Paul. So what's number 2 in here?
Number 2 is allow them to use their talents. When you find these adults and you invite them to do this, they get to know people. You got the love for them. They got love for the kids. Find out what they're good at and let them use their thing. Let them find out what their niche is and allow them to be able to find success with that.
You know, Paul, one of the things I've never understood, and I'm just going to say this, and I hope anybody who's watching this does not get upset with what I'm about to say, but I do not think we have been good at doing that in the past years within the church, of putting people where their talents are. For instance, I've never understood, why do you have somebody who, say, is in charge or is the treasurer of the church who, let's just say, and I'm not dogging anything out, but let's say he's a janitor, and we'll take that person who is an accountant or things like this, that's good at handling money, and we'll put them over education, and we'll put a teacher who's good with education in charge of building maintenance or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're not putting them where they belong, and I've never understood that for many years.
What happens, John, is when you put people in the position where they're comfortable, you create fans.
Yeah.
And you win over people, and they become, John and Paul supporters, or said youth minister's name. They're going to love that youth minister if they see, oh, he needs my help, but he's also allowing me to do what I'm good at with these kids.
Right.
Thank you. Because so many times you ask somebody to come do something they're not comfortable with, they may not ever come back again when it's time to re-up to be a volunteer. So you find where they are, and I think it really means a lot when you do that. And like I said, it brings forth success in doing that. The next part of this number 2, using their talents, kind of goes with something you and I have been doing for a long time, and it looks like we'll probably do it for a long time longer. But any successful eldership, any successful board of directors, which we do a lot of work with, any committee, they all have different abilities. They have different talents, and their mindset's a little different. Sometimes ours is pretty close. And I know sometimes we probably aggravate folks that way, but it is what it is. 2 votes. What's up?
We can expect what's coming. That's right.
But it's having these different ideas to come in. For example, Exposure, we got 9 board members. For the most part, we all kind of come from different directions, and I think it really helps in keeping our eyes open, our mind and our hearts open to all the things that are go on with that. I missed what he just said. I thought it was there. I didn't see it.
We've noticed that Brandon hasn't said anything because he said that he's wondering why I'm in my office and not in a car. Well, because I'm here for at least till next Thursday and head back to Pigeon Forge for CYC up there. And you'll be there, Paul. Are you coming up Thursday?
I am.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Early.
But I think, and sorry, I got totally off on that subject there.
Just a little bit.
Because I've totally lost what I was getting ready to say. People appreciate when you appreciate them for what they can do. And putting people, go back to this parable of the talents, and that one talent man that was afraid to use it. And even if it was going to bomb, his master was like, at least try something. Mm-hmm. Do something with it. Everybody has something they can do in the Lord's kingdom. There are no sharecropper. This is not about, I'm better than others. We're all part of the kingdom of God. We all have our talents to use. And I like this here. The greatest thing a church can do is believe in a person beyond what they currently are. It's seeing the potential. That's what great leaders do. Excuse me. That's what great leaders do, Paul. They look at people and what they can do and put it to it. When we're sitting here and we're on our board with like exposure and things like this, we're trying to put people in place where they will succeed and grow.
Yeah.
And because what that does is it not only helps. I don't have my AirPods attached to my computer. That's why. It not only does it help our program be successful, but it helps them grow in the same way. And Paul, I love how Paul's just looking away at that moment.
Doing a show with two guys who have ADHD is very difficult.
That's correct.
That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
You are 100% correct.
I put myself with you. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 3, John. Y'all
What
need
is-
to know.
What is
I love
number 3,
JoJo.
Paul?
Don't take this the wrong way. I love JoJo.
Oh no! Oh,
All right. Number 3. Offer positive reinforcement, John.
yeah, Paul. Offer
Thank
positive
you.
reinforcement there. Paul, how many people do you know have left ministry or left from volunteering in anything because they just all they needed at some point, not that they were going out looking for it, just needed a pat on the back?
A lot.
A lot of people
A lot of people.
that you and I both know have quit helping do work in the church or work in the church because
Yeah.
they just needed somebody to come up, recognize, say, thank you. You're
Mhm.
doing great. We couldn't do this without you.
You got to raise them up. You got to make them feel good. You got to make them look good in front of everybody else. It's like in a marriage. Honor them in private, but also honor them in public. Make sure everybody knows that you're proud of the work they've done. And all that's going to do is continue to get them to come back. When you make them look good,
yes.
they will continue to look good. And so,
Elders, if you are watching this, whether it's a minister, whether it's a deacon, whether it's a ministry leader or a Bible class teacher, get up and tell them how appreciative you are in public, from the pulpit, and online where everybody can see it,
Yeah.
to know they're proud of you and appreciative of your work.
absolutely. I'm blessed to be in a situation finally in my life where, and I've had this a few times before, but it's prevalent here. The Piedmont Road Eldership that they encourage. I mean, it's not just them; it's the congregation. It's just it's a neat place and some really good people. And I hope they're all watching this. But but anyway, it is good. It's good when you encourage people and you want to be encouraged. So the best way to receive it sometimes is to give it.
I love what Frodo just said in here, that the people do get burnt out and they are abused when you have 20% of the people doing the 80% of the work, and they are expected to, because, and you've heard this saying, I've heard this saying, Sister so-and-so, she'll teach that class because she always does it. We don't have to worry about that. Brother so-and-so, he will go and he'll clean the leaves that are up in the ground because that's what he always does. And we just assume these things instead of asking them and for their help.
Absolutely. Yeah. So continue to do that. Continue to be there. If you like being encouraged, offer that encouragement. It's going to come back around, and it just keeps morale high. And so do that. Sometimes things are going to happen, and people maybe they're not doing the things they need to be doing, and that's where you sit with them, and encourage them, and help them to get that point. So I think even in the negative situations, I think you still encourage. You don't beat down while they're down. You encourage them and say, "What can we do to make this better?" Let's work together. So I think there's two sides to that when you think about how we recognize people. Number 4 is give them purpose. Create goals to accomplish. That's a big part of ministry in general. It's a big part of life in general. But I think when it comes to creating volunteers, give them a reason to be there for sure.
Yeah, you and I, as ministers or as people in general, we are human beings. We struggle if we don't have a purpose of what we're doing. That's just plain and simple. And why do we think volunteers are any different? If they recognize what they are doing and why they are doing it, I promise you will have zero trouble getting volunteers to jump on board because they will buy into something that they value. It is the value and causes and noble causes, Paul, are the two phrases that I've been learning in the last year within this degree program is values and noble causes. And if you can prove those things to people, which what better thing is there to do than value Lord's work in the kingdom of God?
For sure.
And especially in particular, what we do with a lot with the young people,
Mm-hmm.
they'll buy in. Absolutely. You have zero problems getting volunteers.
Well, in the giving them purpose part, you offer them books to read. You give them articles and blogs that are good, that encourage, that help out. Have training days for your teachers.
Yes.
Here at Piedmont Road, I work with them. I'm responsible for all education, and so we have planned opportunities to be and meet and talk and share about this curriculum and how it works and how it breaks down and how to make it benefit the young people and the adults. So it really, for here, it's 0 to adult. And so have those training days. You do this to get their buy-in, let them be a part of it.
Yep.
Training days, kind of like a creators conference, maybe.
Oh, that's a good, Paul, that was really good. The creators conference that will be on the Thursday before Memorial Day, which I don't know the dates, the 26th. You need to mark your calendars to be a part of that. But yeah, give them a purpose. Let them go through. I was talking with one of our members last night, one of our younger members, our young adults, and where she could be involved in the things that fit her. That we talked about the talents already. And once we started talking about what we could see the vision for her to do with the church, she just got all big-eyed and let's go, let's do this.
That's good. And once they have that, it allows them to continue to, again, show success. Almost all of these bring about success if we just keep it going with our volunteers.
You are absolutely correct on that, Paul.
Speaking of that, number 5 is create teamwork.
Oh,
teamwork makes the dream work. Unity, togetherness, working as a group, it all brings teamwork together. And and there's ways to do this. And everyone's not built the same way, but you find that area, that thing that connects them, and working together. And basically, don't become the CEO of your ministry. Okay, don't become the CEO of your ministry. We talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. Don't watch over what's happening, be a part of what's happening, or else teamwork probably will never occur.
Exactly. Any successful business, it is not one person that's running everything. Right. It is, whether it is the people from the upper management, executive positions, on down to the janitor that cleans up at night. They are all part of the team, and it all has to work together. And if we don't understand that, we will never continue this. When Jesus said, go into the world and make disciples, he wasn't just saying, hey, Matthew, you go do it all by yourself. Hey, Peter, I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom. You go do it all by yourself. No, it's everybody that was involved in all of that. They had a team together to do it. There's no way we could do what we just did in December if it's just me and you.
Yeah. Everybody has to be on the same page.
Yep.
And every board is different. Every group is different. We meet 5 times a year. Sometimes we feel like maybe that's too many times. Sometimes we feel like it's not enough. But we got to get everybody on the same page to get that accomplished. A lot of moving parts with that event and other events around that. It takes a lot of people. It takes a village to find that, to bring it to a complete and positive end.
Yes, absolutely. And Paul, without it, in fact, every leadership people that you study, especially John Maxwell, that's what everybody does. He has a whole book on teamwork.
Book?
Well, he's got multiple books, but one specifically on building teams.
Right.
And it is worth the price to get it. It's very easy read, but it's about one is too small a number.
Mm-hmm.
One is too small a number. You have to get involved. I think we said that somewhere in the Acts formula.
Of course, we could always go with sort of a John 10:30 thing where Jesus said, I and the Father are one.
Yep.
That's kind of
neat. Yep.
But if you're in him, then that's the one that works, right? That's the one that works. Number 6, which is funny because we've been talking about this the whole time. Number 6 is lead them to success. Find ways for your volunteers to look good.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Paul, this kind of goes back to the offering the encouragement. You as the ministry leader or youth minister, whoever's watching this, that's getting these people, trying to get these volunteers, take yourself out of it and you prop them up, put them in positions to be successful. You will do it. I think it was Zig Ziglar said, if you will help people be successful, they will help you be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to brag about it. Brag on them and lead them to doing these wonderful things.
Well, what you do is, John, you create these mountaintop experiences. You create these opportunities where everyone gets to experience that success. And I think that's what you do. I think in every plan that you have, you create that moment where everybody gets to look around and say, look what we've done. Look what we got to be a part of. Look how we were blessed to be able to do this. You want to create that moment so your volunteers, your adults that are there, look around and say, it was worth my time.
Yep.
It was worth my effort.
Yep.
It was a job well done, and God's blessed, and we're blessed because of it. You know, I think that's very important to create those opportunities.
Absolutely. And when you do, that encourages them. And then what happens is, Paul, that breaks down. They give it to somebody else. And they're building people up. And then they're building the other people up. And you get this whole cycle, I feel like busting out in Lion King song, this whole circle of life that runs through in the leadership of the church. Yeah, exactly.
No, like that.
Yeah.
Well, that is the how to equip your volunteers. Next week, if we have a show next week, John, that's up to you. I know we'll probably on the road during this time. Next Thursday, I know I will. So we'll see about that. But the next time we meet, we will talk about how to equip them. We're also going to talk about how to empower them, how to put them in those situations of that success, and continue that conversation next week. What I'm excited about, and not that I'm excited about this happens, but excited about some of the things we're going to talk about in the next few months, next few weeks, is 10 tips on helping hurting teens. We have a lot of things going on in the world today, and a lot of families that are broken and hurting and trying to figure it out. There's ways in which we can approach our young people and our adults in tips on how to talk to them, how to approach them, what to say, what not to say, what to prepare for. And so this is the kind of stuff we're going to be approaching and looking at in the next few weeks.
And I'm excited about that. When we're talking about digging in with the young people and the things that they are dealing with and that they're facing, Paul, we've been doing this for, between the two of us, we're almost approaching 50 years.
I think so.
And just that change, just the change since COVID.
Yeah.
It is tremendous. And so it'll be a good conversation.
Definitely, for sure. That's
Well,
kind of
Paul, there's not a lot of going on in the sports world to talk about. I mean, we did have a Super Bowl game. Did you get to watch it?
I did, actually.
It was actually a pretty good game.
It was a good game.
I forgot where I watched it.
Ended about the way I wanted it to, so that's good.
Yeah. So it was a good game.
Not that
interesting playoffs, because I don't like watching NFL. You do.
Oh.
You like watching the Titans.
I do.
But all the games, even the one you lost in, were really, really good.
Well, it helps to lose those games when you have a really, really bad quarterback. So there's that.
Yeah, well, that's true too. I mean, that's on you. I can't bring that one up. I apologize.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully soon here, baseball will end their lockout and start heading down to Florida and Arizona for spring training. And
I mean, the year at this point is probably going to be pushed back.
I think it is. From my inside source said that
ESPN.com.
No, this actually inside source who has an inside source. There you go. That's how we'll term it.
You can do that if you want, John. We all know who choose.
They're hoping to get it within the next week or so finished up.
Oh, I hope so.
So
yes, they are meeting at the table, but pitchers and catchers should have already reported to camp about 3 weeks ago. So the proper development of a baseball player, and the fact that opening day was supposed to have been April 1st, I think you're looking at a mid to late April.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm supposed to possibly be out in April in Texas for Texas Rangers Atlanta Braves series, but I'm not quite sure that that's going to take place because I don't know if they'll be playing by then.
Well, let me know where I need to go to get my ticket. So let me know about that.
It's in Arlington.
I look forward to that trip we get to take together.
Yeah. So we shall see. Yeah, Landon sending me a text message right now. I have to respond back to.
It's good to be alive.
Yeah, it's good to be alive, Paul.
So as we look at the calendar, we're looking as we go forward with things. As John mentioned, we have this mission trip going on, leaving Saturday, coming back Wednesday. Ministry League will be a part of that. Follow us. We'll chronicle that through Facebook and Instagram. On that, looking forward to that. Excited about that. Look for those. Also, we'll be up at CYC. So if you're going to CYC, come by the table. Love to see you.
Yeah, we will.
Got some neat
Paul
stuff.
is going to be there. I'm sure
good.
Dale Jenkins will say something about that.
I don't know why that's a big deal, but we'll have a table for Ministry League, and so Stephanie and I will be there. We're looking forward to that trip, and meeting and greeting with a lot of folks and promoting and sharing the wide world of Ministry League. And then leading up, I mean, that starts March. After that, I mean, you got March Madness happen. Basketball's in full swing, and then of course March, April, May, we're looking at the Ministry League experience, John, and people. They ask a lot of questions about this, and I think that sometimes they have the wrong idea. The experience isn't necessarily what happens that last weekend of May. The experience is what we're going to do after that, where we're going to go with that, and how we're going to promote God's word. And we're really excited about it, and also a possible trip to Scotland. So,
yeah, very much. So we have a lot coming. We have a lot coming on. I thought my schedule was actually going to slow down, where I wasn't going to be traveling as much, and it is not, because we have everything going on. We looking like going overseas. Things are opening back up, and we'll get that into going. And I know you're excited about that. I'm excited about that. Mm-hmm. Things that y'all are doing. We're praying for y'all's success this week down there in Florida, and we can't wait to hear about it. And and for those that are going to be in Pigeon Forge next weekend, we will see you there.
So for Caleb Sampson, John Podine, I'm Paul Sperlin. This has been the John and Paul Show. We invite you to look us up on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and Ministry League. Everything at Ministry League. We look forward to seeing you at the next time we're together. We hope you have a great day. We hope you have a great weekend. Take care, and God bless.